Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all well. Welcome. The Extra Time Show is back on a Thursday. Me and Kenny Ken. Now the dust has settled on the cup final that me and Kenny Ken was there. We're going to have a little talk about exactly why was the performance so bad. That's what we're going to get into. What were the reasons? What was the nitty gritty of why we performed so badly? Now the dust has settled. We're going to be looking ahead as well with the important league games. We'll have a little chat, a few internationals as well. There's big internationals tonight. I know Kenny's a fan of massive internationals games, same as me. I'm looking forward to the World Cup. And also there's a few things going wrong. There's some players' unrest in the camp, apparently. Are they rumours? Are they true? We'll have to wait and see. But Kenny, how are you, bruv? You okay?
Yeah, Wembley still hurts because I'm becoming sick and tired of going to League Cup finals, not winning them. You know, my most if you think about 93, last time we won it, I was at Wembley working around there and around there at that time. Went into Cardiff in 2007, and when I saw the team sheet, my heart sank. But Wenger has always said he was going to play the kids. But when I saw Chelsea's team sheet, I thought, God help us. And somehow we went 1-0 up. We lost. Birmingham, Arsene Wenger actually took the League Cup very seriously because he knew he needed this trophy because he was into his six years without winning a trophy. And the two people with Polish descent cost us the game. And let's face it, we weren't playing that well anyway. And then Man City was a no-show. And then this, when there was a lot of, how do I say it, confidence bordering on arrogance from our fans. We all thought, majority of Arsenal fans thought we would win. You know, there's this narrative that we are better than Man City, that if Man City go toe-to-toe with us, we'll smash them with this and that. And we got what we deserved. I think Man City must have seen the confidence oozing out of our fans and the pundits, people like Paul Merson. I thought, we're the top dogs here. And that performance just hurt me. It hurt me because you and I knew that after 30 minutes we'll run out of gas, and that we would hope that Man City would be like a lot of teams that we played this season where they haven't got the ability to put us under the sword or the energy to do it for 90 minutes and keep the ball. And Man City, their energy levels killed us. The way they made Declan Rice run and run and run and run and run and run and run, where he couldn't even have a breather, he went. They made Saka run and run and run, he went. You know, the fullbacks, Benjamin White. I've been saying it for a long time, Benjamin White, that if you play him at fullback, do it at your peril because Saliba will be compromised. Saka will spend a lot of time defending. And this energy where he says he'll get down a byline, he'll cross. He only's done it in one game this season, Chelsea. Apart from that, you tell me when Benjamin White's done that on a regular basis, when he's played, so we know Timber's played, he's only done it once. So this myth about Benjamin White, you know, going down a byline and he has this partnership with Saka, just complete rubbish. Hasn't happened this season. And then the fullback, Calafiori in hindsight should have played. Hincapié is an example of form being temporary, class forever, and he got absolutely destroyed. And Gyokeres is what everyone says he is. I didn't realise that there's a lot of people who have their misgivings about Gyokeres as well, and that it just proves that the stats are a lie. When people go on these shows and they just look at his record and they want to argue and chew the fat with you over it, they're very forgetful what he doesn't do. And that's the situation. But as you said, we've seen this coming. We've been
100%.
Yeah, we've been talking about results. We were very perturbed against Sunderland. Liverpool home and away weren't happy. The games over Christmas we were winning, we weren't happy. We said that this is going to happen.
Poor, wasn't it, Kenny?
We would have liked it to have happened probably in a league game, to happen on the biggest stage of all, the cup final. And it was big because CBS was there. You know, Sky was there, ITV camera, well, Sky stroke ITV cameras were there. It was going all over the world. Don't give me that the League Cup don't matter. It's only a whack trophy. These idiots say it, but they're all there. We saw the people, every person.
We saw them. All the ones that dismiss it, they was all there jumping about and buzzing around.
We're all there. You had a few. You had one of the biggest DJs who does free DJs outside King's Cross. You know what I'm talking about. He was there with his other mate. Don't tell me the League Cup didn't matter, but we got a lot of chew to fat about, because at the end of the day, it hurts so badly, because this movie was coming. This
100%.
No one wants to see it. Our arrogance is so breathtaking. We're going to do the quadruple. We're levels above City. If we win the league this season, we'll go on and dominate. Who else is going to be there? Calm down.
Exactly, Kenny. 100%. When did you? When we analyse it, Kenny? Right. I mean, we was more confident going into this game than when we got beat against City in the last League Cup final, right? In the last League Cup final, we was happy to be there. It was a brilliant Man City team, 100-point team. We was just happy just to sort of give it a go. But realistically, we never thought we was ever going to win that game, to be honest. But a lot of us were upbeat about this game, because, it ain't the City team as what it... Well, obviously, we've got that wrong. But, I mean, you know what I'm saying? We were more upbeat. When did the crack started to appear with you, Kenny? Because for me, I reckon it was... I mean, I've not been impressed all season, if I'm going to be honest. I've not been impressed last season either. It's been crap for 2 years, to be honest. The style of play, the way we play. But the alarm bells were really ringing loud in the ears, Sunderland game.
That's for me.
That's when I started to think to myself, hang on a minute, we're not as good as I thought we were.
Well, that's exactly the same for me. You think about the games we played. Before that, everyone's talking about a great defence and how we're going to break Chelsea's record of the least amount of goals conceded. I think it's a 95 season under Jose Mourinho, and we conceded 2 against Sunderland. But it was the amount of defeat. It's how they doubled up on us, attacking wise, not defensively, where they put our fullbacks under pressure. They got bodies forward. They kept the ball really well. Even when they went at 2-1 down, they kept them going and going and going, and they just outrun us. You look at the miles they run during that match. That was an eye opener, because previously teams got intimidated by the fact that we were able to close games out. We were so hard to overload. And that myth was just dispelled. And since then, it's very rare for us to keep a clean sheet. It's a rarity, us keeping a clean sheet.
Yeah.
And even though we're like I said, the best side defensively, we're fallible, and that's where the alarm bells went. And then after that, we beat Tottenham, a very poor Tottenham, and then from then on, it hasn't been great, and we haven't been impressive. Our best performances remain in Europe, Internazionale, Bayern Munich, the second leg against Leverkusen in Europe. That's where we've been very good. Carling Cup, you can't really gauge that because we haven't played our full team, but we were very good in the first half against Chelsea. And that's it. The FA Cup, we played teams who are in low divisions. But I've been saying for a long time that what I saw at Sunderland was mirrored at Liverpool. And then Man United just played football against us. They didn't play low block. They just came and battered us and saw we could beat these. And what I've always said, teams that can pass the ball, they're organised, big physically, and get a centre forward who either has a cutting edge but can hold the ball up and occupy our defenders, will struggle against those teams, because you do those facets against us, we're beatable. No one's scared of us. There isn't a fear factor. We haven't won the league yet, so why would teams be intimidated of us? It's the media that's saying that we've got the best squad.
Yeah,
and that our squad's the best in the country. It's the media saying that we got the best defence, and it's the media talking about Mikel Arteta in those terms. When, on the same breath, the minute we drop points, they have the same doubts of all of us, and that's our fans as well. There's a lot of fans, from the vocal minority, who are going around saying all sorts of nonsense. You know, if we win the league, we're going to be invited on all sorts of shows. You know, to say sorry. Well, if I look into this camera here, I'm going to say one thing: don't bother. I'm not interested.
Exactly.
Whatever happens this season, I'm only going to pod with people I respect. You're one of them. Jez, Lee, Dan. There's Shane, DG, and that Johnny, Rashid, Views. That's it. And obviously Matt. All the other ones who I don't hear from on a regular basis, don't contact me. I'm not interested.
Exactly, mate.
Not interested.
100%.
I'm a grown man. Don't bother contacting me, because at the end of the day, I need you as much as I need the hole in the head. And I don't need the hole in the head, which means I don't need you.
Man. Absolute facts. This is the problem. You know, this is what's going to happen. We're going to win the league.
I forgot to mention Northside as well. Northside.
Oh, Northside. Aaron as well. If it were Aaron when he's back.
Aaron as well. Yeah.
Aaron when he's back. Yeah, 100%. And this is the problem, because we're stuck to our guns. Yeah, we'll be over the moon.
And judges as well. And Cis. There's loads of people, but there's others who I don't hear from. Don't bother.
No, don't bother. Don't come out the woodwork if we win the league just to rub our noses and say, "Oh, I told you so," and act all childish and all this and everything else. Talking to Rashid, big up Rashid. Pleasure to see you the weekend, my friend, on Sunday.
You,
really great to bump into you and meet you, my friend. Yeah, big up Rashid. Make sure you go and sign to Rashid. So it started going wrong with the Sunderland game. I've not been impressed up until the Sunderland game, if I'm honest with you. Man United first game of the season, I didn't think it was brilliant. Liverpool at Anfield, we should have made a statement. It didn't happen. So I've been sort of a little bit kind of shocked that we're top of the league, to be honest with you. And there's numbers of reasons why we're top of the league. It's a mixture of the other teams haven't been good enough. And we've been strong defensively, and we've got out of jail in a lot of the games. Let's be honest.
Exactly.
But we are where we are, and I'm glad we are where we are. Do you think the players on Sunday at that cup final had a bit of a false narrative, Kenny? Do you think that they were brainwashed, that they were the best thing since sliced bread, and all they had to do was turn up? All they had to do was turn up.
No, our players are educated. Our players are very educated people. They know football, and they're respectful. So as Mikel, you only have to look at the way we played, how we played reverence to Man City, especially when they started to get on top. We were very, how to say, servile, feeble, and fearful when we got the ball, and rightly so. You got to remember one thing, right? Had it not been for Donnarumma taking the dog for a walk, we would have won. The Man City would have won that game, and not one person in the Emirates Stadium would have complained.
No,
I would have complained, and everyone sees it as a great point, because it was a great point, because we were absolutely on the back foot in that game. Man City defensively were better than us, kept the ball really well, scored a really good goal, and were a bit wasteful in front of the goal. But they're the ones who came out of that game with more sort of brownie points than us. We were hanging up. We were lucky to even get into the game. And of course, the Arteta narratives will say, sort of fans will say, what an inspired substitution, get Eze on. And then he gets the other substitute, Gabriel Martinelli, on, and he lobs the keeper and blah, 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 even though it's a mistake. And I think that's where our players would have remembered that game. Man City players will remember that. They will watch a video of the game at the Emirates, and they'll be looking at how they dominated possession, how they got in their faces and pressed us, made sure that if they didn't make mistakes, they'll win the game. Man City haven't forgotten what we did to them last season. We beat them 5-1.
No, that's hurt a minute. Always
you had kids like Miles Lewis-Skelly, reenacting a Haaland celebration. That's bit us up the arse, but it hasn't really. But in terms of our rivalry with Man City, which is a non-event because we haven't taken anything on them yet. But you look at how that panned out. You look at the better players. Remember, Man City didn't have Gahey, cup side, didn't have Ruben Diaz injured. They haven't had Rodri all the season. Kovacic, another one who's a good runner.
Stone.
But it's done as well. But if you look what they did, they played a proper midfield against us. And they said to Declan Rice, come and show us what you're going to do. In fact, show us what you like when we make you run. It was a case where our players knew what was coming, just couldn't stop it. And you look at the way we played, look at the panic. How many times did Arsenal give the ball away in that match?
Oh,
especially second half. Lost number of cats, didn't it? In Man City weren't even making.
It's like we had 9 men, Kenny. I've never seen anything like it.
But you know what it is though. You got to remember one thing. It's a big picture at Wembley. You know, their best Declan Rice had to run and chase the ball and chase the game. They don't have to do that much in the Premiership. No. Everton, we were on the front foot because we needed to win that game. But Everton won it in the first half. Everton had a go, and in the second half they got tired and they kept men behind the ball, so they were passive. You look at there's games at the Emirates when we've played good teams in Europe and England and in the Premiership where Declan Rice can pace himself in games. So we know he's not fit, but he paces himself because he can. Because he knows there's other players who can keep the ball and we can keep the opposition occupied, and then he'll have a burst of pace. Against Man City, what happened? Against Liverpool, when we played them at the Emirates, when we had all these, how to say it, when we had played against a team that are physically strong, tall, big lads, ballers as well, and then they're organised as well. Had they had Ekitike and Isak,
it would have been game over.
They'd beaten us. All they lacked was and most
of that striker, didn't they?
Definitely, they didn't have a striker. If they had a striker, they beat us.
Oh, absolutely.
Know that. So,
no, go on, mate. No, go on. What was you going to say? No, I'll make you 100% right.
No, and that's the situation. You know, the manager. I think he realised when we went 2-0 down, instead of trying to get back in the game and get a 2-2, he was keeping the score down. He knew that Man City were turning the screw. They scored in the 60th and 64th minute, and he was just worried about it being like embarrassing 3-0 or 4-0, and he couldn't have happened.
Yeah. I mean, we bought a defender. It's true what BBK said. He said something in the realms of that. We bought on his tactics was bringing on a defender to defend a 2-0 2-0 deficit. Do you know what I mean? It's like ridiculous. But also, Kenny, there was cracks appearing as well, wasn't it? I mean, let's be honest. Carrick scored us at the Emirates, didn't he? When Man United beat us there. They got that spot on as well.
100%.
You know, so when you look, see, this is what fans don't do, and this is what's good about like tonight. We can go back and sort of analyse the reasons why we got it so wrong on Sunday. You go back to that game at the Emirates, Man United. Very similar. You know, they held possession in midfield. I mean, do you know what I mean? We got scored there as well, didn't we?
Exactly. You know? Sorry, the reason why we got scored is because, again, we're on top for the first 25 minutes. Yeah. But if you remember, if you compare the Man United game to the Man City game, before Man City got their first goal, they had sustained pressure for 15 minutes where they're on top and they're pushing us back. We succumbed under pressure. Kepa Arrizabalaga, let's not forget, he held onto the ball, was waiting about 40 seconds to find a player, but no one wanted the ball. He committed a foul on Doku, and then that was sustained pressure. Well, the Man United game at the Emirates Stadium, we were 1-0 up. Before that, we gave the ball away twice, and Man United came close to scoring. The third time we gave the ball away, they wouldn't have scored their goal. And from then on, they were on top of the game. They came at us the second half, scored a worldie. Somehow we, from set pieces, because that's our forte, got the equaliser. And after that, Man United got angry. I thought, no, we're better than these. Went and scored, game over. And that's the situation. That's who we are. A lot of people seem to forget We went 2-0 up against Wolves, who are very improved Wolves, and it was only a matter of everyone who's an Arsenal fan must have known that when was it Gomez? Gomez got the pulled the goal back. It was only a matter of time before we were going to creak under pressure because once again we weren't taking our chances in the second half, and Wolves kept on pressure and pressure and pressure. And what happened? Gabriel and Raya got themselves in a bit of a tangle. The equaliser went in, and that's the situation. And then we had a full storm because Tottenham were pathetic. Everything about Spurs was most pathetic. The only people at Tottenham who don't realise they're in a relegation scrap is the eager children and the players. Everyone else, opposition fans, Spurs fans, the media, of trying to tell their players they're in a relegation scrap. We smashed them, and then afterwards we got a good win against Chelsea, a naive Chelsea, in my opinion. Player got sent off, and then we think we're back on track. And that's the thing: we are going to drop points, but because we think Man City are going to drop points, we think that we're in a situation where it's not so bad after all. In essence, it isn't, because if you asked us at the beginning of the season, the Holy Grail was the league. As much as you want the Champions League because you want that star on one of your shirts, respect to that. We need the league badly because of the disappointments we had after the last 4 years. To not win it now, where we believe the football's not the greatest, it's going to be a hard ask to ask certain players to go back and try and win it again. It's going to be a hard ask.
Couldn't do it.
But it's going to be an hard ask for them to retain it.
Yeah,
that's hard. But after you've dropped the ball or you've been picked for the league, it's not going to be able to do it. Some of the better players are going to not be able to cope mentally, and some of them are going to rightly, which is their right, use the World Cup as a shot window to go elsewhere.
Exactly.
Let's not forget the manager as well. The manager has got the manager, in my opinion, has always used this job as a stepping stone to something bigger. And the biggest job in football is Man City after Pep leaves. I'm sorry, that's my feeling.
100%, mate. 100%. But yeah, I mean, we're all analysing what went wrong in the cup and the reasons why. Well, we've given you a rundown. Liverpool at home, Man United, Wolves away. Let's not forget Brentford, 10-man Chelsea. Aston Villa first half should have been out of sight. Recently, Everton in the first half should have gone in 2-0 up. I don't know about you, Kenny, but I thought they were good. They were worthy of going in at half-time winning, Everton. We weren't really in the game in the first half. They had more chances. They looked the more team to go on to win. So that, you had all these things together, and you analyse all the games building up to this final. Now the dust has settled. That's the reason why we lost this final. The reason why we lost this final is because of our performances have not been good enough going into a final. They've just not been good enough. And this is now the worrying side of things going to these remainder games. Kenny, got to move on to this. I came across this today, and I've heard this. I've heard this from different sources. To be honest, I've heard it from all different sources about the Declan Rice thing. If you look at the end of the game, Declan Rice is having serious words with Gabriel as Man City are going up to get their trophy and everything else. He's had words in the past after games. He's had fallouts. He's had strong words. He's a very strong character, is Declan Rice. The one thing you cannot say about Declan Rice is his commitment, his work rate, and his calls to what he needs to do. This guy has run his socks off every single game. He's run himself into the ground to the point now where he's actually on burnout. He's in the red zone, as far as I'm concerned. Right? He's covering players. When he came to the club, he saw Granit Xhaka go out the door. Then he built up a thing with Partey. Partey went. Now Zubimendi's coming. Zubimendi might have started the season okay, but now he's tailed off. And there's a rumour going around that he looks lost. And Arteta has got concerns that he's not happy and he looks lost and everything else. Now, what do you make of this? Because all we hear, right, Kenny, is, oh, players they're only coming to the football club because of Arteta. And me and you have been saying it. You could win 101 trophies if the players are not happy and the players are not feeling that they are kind of doing what they should be doing at a football club. They'll want to go. They'll want to go. Now, is this just paper talk, or because our attacking third has been woeful? Saka's fallen off. Martinelli, Trossard. It's like playing with 9 men, 10 men. So, what's your opinion on these rumours? I don't know if you've seen it, but what's your feelings on the Declan Rice?
One thing about Declan Rice is Declan Rice has been behaving in a way where it hasn't gone unchecked. I think Declan Rice is staging, like I said, unauthorised coup for the captaincy.
Yeah.
I think the majority of Arsenal fans who live in the UK would like him to be the captain. I think the media would like him to be the captain as well. They are basically honing in on him whenever we lose.
Yeah,
no one at the club is actually talking to Declan and said, "Look, Martin's the captain. What you're doing is that you're bringing noise to the club. No one's allowing this to happen." I think that the way the club behaving is quite concerning. They're allowing their sitting captain, club captain, be undermined. Sometimes when he's even there, let alone in his absence. So you can understand that there's a big push for Declan to get the captaincy. In terms of like the situation about, Arteta's lost. Well, the pressure on Arteta is so much. And I think the League Cup final is going to have a wake-up call. And it's going to be a wake-up call to the noise and the ambitions of the quadruple, which is now going to be the treble. And it's going to be a situation where perhaps we will probably going to have to prioritise the league. Because I'll tell you one thing now. As much as we got alleged draws in our favour in both the Champions League and the FA Cup, the fact is, whether fans like it or not, and whatever the results tell you, the performance is telling you that a lot of our players are running on empty. He's 100%. One of them. Saka, his performances are called under question. A lot of that is because, once again, he's not fit. You can't tell me and sit there and say Saka's fit. Doesn't look it. And then you've got Zubimendi having to run around a lot more. His performance is under question. He's tired. So those are the players. I can only think of one player who hasn't been injured, and that's Cesc. So when you've got a situation where virtually every player's had some sort of an injury, you ask them to emotionally, mentally, and physically go for, like trophies on all three fronts. I think the league has got to be in the be or end of all. And I'll tell you why. If Arsenal don't win this league, I think the pressure on the manager will be unbearable. The disappointment. I don't think it'd be disappointing. It'll be
players leaving, Kenny. Key players would leave at the end of this season.
Key players leaving anyway. Key players leaving anyway because
key players are leaving anyway. 100%.
Realistically, if any Arsenal fan thinks that we're going to spend like we did last season without any players leaving, they must have failed the economics at school or at GCSE level. Because the fact is that we've got a major tax bill that needs paying.
Yeah.
Remember, let's not forget, we need a lot of we're going to be spending a lot of money updating the Emirates Stadium in order to enable Arsenal to extend the stadium, i.e. the corporates, which means there's a possibility we have to leave the Emirates to move elsewhere. So that's going to cost money. So to balance the books and not to contribute PSR, players are going to leave. The names are coming out of why. Martinelli, Trossard, Jesus, Odegaard, as a name that is not going away. They're the main. They're the five. And there's even talk about, sadly, Ethan and Mars Skelly. There's going to be players who are going to have to go. Players who served Mikel really well. So they're going to be going anyway. We're going to need a situation where we've got to freshen it up. Regardless of whether we win or not, it's got to be freshened up. But in terms of Declan's frustration, Declan is a winner. He's won things at this level.
100%.
He's trying to. I think he's frustrated with himself because he hasn't been playing well recently, and he's frustrated with the situation. But you've got to remember one thing: Mikel Arteta hasn't got a plan A. The only reason why it looks like he's got a plan A because he's out to play players because his first choice are injured. If his first choice weren't injured, who knows what could have happened? You know, he'd probably run him at the ground. But yeah, look, if we don't win the league and we fall short in the other competitions, then the noise against Mikel is going to be very, 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 very loud. And then there's going to be speculation from players like Declan, who's, in my opinion, is making a coup for the captaincy. He believes he should be the captain. And then you've got a situation with, other players who may not be happy or may be overtures. But one thing is for sure, if we win it, it'll paper over the cracks. But it doesn't mean, because we won the league, that there isn't divisions in their squad when it's bound to happen. There's got to be, there's going to be players who are not going to be happy and not playing. Benjamin White was a starter. And all of a sudden, Timber's come along and he's not even getting game time. And there was times when he's played Mosquera ahead of Benjamin. So, of course, Benjamin White can't be happy. He can't be happy with that. Nolly Madueke is probably looking at Saka's performances and thinking, hang on, he's not fit. He ain't playing well. I'm in great shape. He'd be happy. He'd think, well, hang on it. All right, I concede that he's got a massive sort of kudos and love for the Arsenal fans, but I'm playing better. I should play. That's going to cause trouble. Martinelli and Trossard can't be happy with the manager because they wouldn't make a decision on the left-back situation. Martinelli's never happy because whenever he scores, where's he go? Who does he go to celebrate in front of?
Coaching staff, yeah.
No, he's not happy. So
he's not happy. And now he's got the Cavascilia links to the club.
Right, yeah.
And I said with Martinelli, Kenny, I said the moment this manager was all out to sign Mudryk, Martinelli fell off.
Yeah, but you have people who love Mikel and they go, how do you know? Have you heard that? Because those sort of fans don't want to hurt. They don't want the status quo. They want everyone to come together. They don't want any noise, and they don't want a situation where there's instability. And when fans like ourselves question the manager, question performances, question the players, in their eyes, we're bringing instability and noise to the football club. But the fact is that these platforms do allow fans to have a voice in terms of their own voice. Now, some people may not even know this podcast is going on. Others may. But the fact is, fans are going to have their say.
100%.
Fans like us have to shout loudly because there's a lot of hand-picked fans who are getting, picked by the media on the basis that they don't upset the club. They're getting picked by one of the biggest, YouTube channels out there because the fact that they're not upsetting the club. A certain channel wants to, gain acceptance for the club. They want to be able to go into press conferences in pre-season, especially when they're spending thousands of pounds for them and their staff to film the overseas tours in the United States. They're not going to, rock the boat. They'll be fools to do it, especially when they've managed to repair their reputation and get access. However, they don't speak for all of us. They're very much the vocal minority, and there has to be other voices. And if the media don't recognise that, then we've got to do our own thing.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely, 100%, Kenny. I mean, this is the thing we're in. We have to represent what we believe is what we think is right for the club. When these sort of channels, and I'm not in it for clicks and all of that. We saw all that nonsense on Saturday, didn't we? So I'm not going to mention any names, but we saw what was going on Sunday.
You got to remember one thing. you can't put the genie back in the bottle. You're
No.
always going to get people who are football fans who basically have doubts of what they want to do in their life. They're young as well. Let's not forget the young.
Mm-hmm.
So the younger they are, the more they're going to think, well, you know what? Maybe I could do this. Maybe I can give this time. You know, when I strike really on as hot, and can you blame them? They've seen that, you know, that a couple of people be successful within the Arsenal fan base. They've seen other people be successful. You know, they've seen them being handpicked for the overlap. They've seen them being handpicked for loads of big podcasts.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't bother them that the silence, you know, like I said, the silent majority probably don't care for him, don't bother him. It doesn't bother him that your silent majority, as bad as Soccer AM became towards the end, its levels before above the rubbish we served up on a Saturday. That show, whatever it's called, is just rubbish. It's rubbish. It's people, it's handpicked actors who think they speak for the club, and some of these guys who go and represent the clubs are not even from their home cities. That's not being horrible, which is facts. I'm not saying that every Man United fan has to be from Manchester, but it's hard to take some of them seriously. I mean, you've got a guy from Bristol as a Man City fan now. How he supports Man City. He may have a Manc father, he may have a Manc grandfather, or he may have gone to the University of Manchester. But there's no doubt he probably did.
Or his dad might have bought him the wrong top for Christmas one year.
Doesn't matter what he did. But all I'm trying to say is that content is not what the silent majority asked for. We love Soccer AM because it could have been one of us on that show. It could have been one of us who'd be fans of the show. It could have been one of us in that, you know, having a laugh. You know, it was very much a football fan show. It was like, and it's football fans of all the ages. The you know, shows that replaced it it's just like a closed shop of rubbish, really.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
It's crap. It's a crap show.
It is, mate. It is, and it's all.
It won't last. It won't last.
No. It ain't going to last. 100%. It ain't going to last. It won't last at all. No, definitely not. But no, I mean, it is concerning when you're hearing stories come out about Rice is lost and that, because again, the style of play, the attacking third. Apparently, Paul Scholes has come out and said, you know, it's not sustainable. The attack, their final third is not good enough, and everything, you know. And I mean, look, let's say we do get over the line and we win the Premier League, Kenny, right?
Yes.
The real fans will still analyse it. Yeah, we've won the league, but we've won the league. However, we've won the league, but this needs to happen and this needs to change. Because I've been saying it for a long while, Kenny. What worries me is that if we win the league this year, if we don't make drastic changes, and there's players that need to move on, we know that. But tactically as well, if we don't make drastic changes, we could find ourselves being another Man United. We could find ourselves
without a shadow of doubt, because at the end of the day, there isn't any quality in the last third. Don't care what anyone says.
No,
you could. You know, there's a lot of people who've mistakenly said that Gyokeres is an elite striker. He's nothing of the sort. He's not an elite striker. That's not digging him out.
Sorry, Kenny. Do you feel? See, I'm like this with Gyokeres. I've got to be honest. I'm sort of juggling up and down with him. You know, there's a part of me. You know a good striker when you see a good striker. The way they hold the ball up, the way they bring players in.
He's not bad.
He ain't that. But when you look at the other side of the coin, he's had no wingers, has he? All season, really.
You see, that's the thing.
Bobs.
That's the thing. Does Haaland rely on wing play? A lot of Haaland's goals, not all of Haaland's goals are crosses going in. Some of them are, but there's a variety of finishes where Haaland will use his pace, get on the shoulder, and get the ball through the lines, bang,
But
goals.
people will turn around and say to you, Kenny, and I know they will, oh, it's Haaland, though. He's world class. That's what good strikers do.
And they're entitled to say that. But there's many a time when there's been a disconnect on both sides. Yes, of course, they're not done up pass the ball to Victor. When they put the crosses in, he's not there. Well, when they try to pass through the lines, very rarely.
He's got no anticipation, has he? He's anticipation.
But he hasn't got the pace to get away from his man. You look at the goal that we scored against that Man City scored against us, the Emirates. A mistake, ball through the lines. Haaland was managed to outpace Saliba, boom, goal. Have you ever seen Victor Gyokeres score a goal like that for us? No. Not once. So there's loads of things where people talk about Victor Gyokeres, and they rightly so. They have looked at the record in when he played for Lisboa. But the fact is that from what we've seen, even when a player doesn't score, you look at a player and say, right, he's fine. He'll do for me. Now, whether people like it or not, whenever I watch Shesco and he doesn't score, I look for other things. Shesco's first touch is better than Victor's. That's just a fact. Shesco has got more pace than Victor. That's just a fact. Shesco links up the play better than Victor. That's a fact. He's better than Victor in the air. One thing Victor has, he's got a better record and he's got more footballing experience because of his age. But the question is, there's going to be a lot of Arsenal fans who, if Arsenal are linked with a striker, and I'm hearing noises about Alvarez, now he's not a striker, I can tell you one thing right now. I don't know whether Arteta's in on this or whether Berta's in on this or whether they get on or not. Arsenal, whether fans like it or not, Victor Gyokeres has not quelled the noise for a striker to come into the squad. He should be doing that. It should be a situation with Victor Gyokeres, on the basis of his performances, his footballing ability to bring others into the team, and his goals in big moments, it should have quelled that talk, debate for a striker.
Absolutely.
Because that shouldn't be happening if Victor Gyokeres is playing well. You shouldn't be. We shouldn't be being lazy. We're being quite lazy by saying, and we don't mean to be. We're finding all sorts of reasons why Victor hasn't made it, and he hasn't impressed as he should. We're blaming Saka, we're blaming Martinelli, and they are at fault up to a point. But we're not looking at situations when they have played Victor in, when they have put the ball in, and he's not in the position where he's going to put it in the back of the net. People sit and forget that. What they look at is Victor not getting the ball and him struggling. But the fact is that you can struggle for goals, but you can give the team something.
You can give us another angle, another option.
When I see Victor saying, Victor occupies 2 or 3 defenders and defenders are scared to do this and that, all right, that's fine. But is he actually scared defenders? Name me a centre half that when Victor is running them doesn't believe that they're gonna win the ball, because every duel he's had where he's trying to get away from his marker, he's been tackled or outpaced, even when he's had a foot race.
He's easy to play against, isn't he, Kenny? I mean, I was watching him Sunday when we did have some sort of, in the first 15, 20 minutes. It weren't a lot, but Ake and makeshift defenders were never troubled by him. They weren't troubled by him.
It's not just us saying it. It's not just us saying it. I spoke to someone I've got a lot of respect for, and I hadn't seen him for a while, and I was worried about him. We had a chat.
Yeah.
But when we got talking about football, I just said one word to him, Victor Gyokeres, and his face just went white, and he went, nah, not for me. And then I said, Shesco, and he smiled. He smiled. There's been a lot of podcasts. He doesn't want me to mention his name, but despite the fact that, we have differing views, most Arsenal fans, I can have a chat with them. There's a lot of Arsenal fans who don't like my methods, not big fans of Lee, but every time I see this Arsenal fan, we have a hug.
Exactly.
Because I got to and said, look, let's have a chat about football. Let's cut the rubbish out. We're both men. We both go to games.
That's what it's all about, mate.
And that's what I do. People I just got up to them and said, let's just chalk. And we always have a hug because at the end of the day, we're all doing the same thing. But the majority of people I spoke to, they were expecting more from Victor. I've looked at their tweets in matches, and they're very, very, very critical of Victor. Very critical of Victor. And it's not that he's not trying. They're thinking, well, we expect a bit more. And they're looking at his first touches and they're not sure.
What do you think of this then? I mean, Jamboy, big up to everyone in the chat, by the way. He's 113 in the chat. Make sure you smash a like. It does help the channel, guys. Make sure you're following Kenny Ken on his Insta as well. He hasn't got a channel, but you all know Kenny Ken. Yeah. Big up to everyone locked into this tea time on a Thursday. Make sure you sub to the channel if you're new as well. Jamboy, I still think Gyokeres would do a lot better with a top manager, the style of play that suits his game.
See, the problem.
Can you see that, Kenny, or do you think that the Premiership?
Yes, up to a point. Yes, up to the point. If they take away certain responsibilities and they do put the crosses in and make him the main man. Without said that, if he's the main man and they play like that, no problem. But I've seen many a manager. And some of them will look at a player, and because they've seen a chink in their technique they don't like, all bets are off. All bets are off. I don't want a situation where someone other than Arteta is going to look at Victor and say all bets are off, because I do think a top manager will say that. A top manager will look at exactly, I'll have a go at him. I could get something out of him. They'll look at Ekatike and say, I could get something out of him. Look at Shesco and say the same. But if they see players like Victor, they could be. They'll look at the record, but if they're not sure about the technique, I think that they may reach the same conclusion that Mikel is reached, but wouldn't dare say.
They have to bring something else to the party, don't they?
You look at Igor Jesus. Now, you and I know that when you look at him, his first touch is very bad. Very bad. That when he actually gets the ball out of his feet, he kicks it too far ahead of him. But one thing about him, his work rate is unbelievable. His strength, he's fast, and one thing about it is that he's determined to score goals. He can turn a rubbish ball, a really bad ball, into his favour. He could turn an 80-20 against him into his favour. He could turn a 60-40 in his favour. And obviously, if you put in a plate for him, he could turn it his favour. You play the ball over the top through the lines, he will win his duels. But technically, he's not the greatest. But one thing, if you can iron out those deficiencies, he wins a lot of his duels, hence the fact that he scored nearly 20 goals this season in the league.
Yeah.
You can't say that about Victor.
No, unfortunately you can't, mate. Unfortunately, you can't. I mean, I said it at the start of the season. Everyone was, getting on and saying, oh, yeah, Gyokeres. And don't get me wrong, I was pleased we got a number 9. Over the moon, we got a number 9. But I said it all along.
We did
unless we change our tactics dramatically, this player is going to look bang average. They were my words. And he has looked bang average. He's come up with the odd goal, and Kenny, and he's scored, 14, 15 goals. We're coming to the end of the season.
Right, yeah, but I
was told that this guy was going to get 25, 30 goals, Kenny.
Well, we last season. If you look at our content at the beginning of the season, where we were invited on shows, collectively we were on Dan's show, without a shadow of a doubt. I was one of the people on the show that said, "Well, you should be happy with 15 goals." That doesn't look like being challenged. We've got about 7 games left. He's got a chance to get those 15 goals, and that'd be a good season for Victor. But if you look at those metrics, you'll be saying, "Yeah, I think he's had a good season." What you're talking about, but if you watch but you and I know the stats can be a lie. One of the biggest lies in football is Germany 1, England 5. That is a footballing myth. We saw it before our very eyes, and we thought that night in Munich, England were going to dominate world football. that anyone who knows about world football knows two things. Germany were going to recover, and they had, and England are flat track bullies. But when it comes to pressurised tournament football, the truth came out. Now you look at the situation with Victor, where you look at his goals and bunches, but for a majority of the season, when you've analysed his game and analysed Arsenal performances, there's been more doubts than there has been
positives.
And that's a fact. 100%. So the stats can be one of the biggest lies ever.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, and we're not popping it. I mean, as I said, I still think that he would have looked better if tactics and we would have had our attacking third flowing. He would have probably looked a lot better. But he just hasn't been the icing on the cake on the whole. He's popped up now and again. He's got potential. But he's 27 years of age. I mean, he's not a striker. I mean, he's 27, 28 years of age now. You know, he's not.
He's the equivalent of a 40-year-old. You know what he is? He's the equivalent of a 40-year-old in the. If you could talk about footballing years, he's the equivalent of a 40-year-old in an office environment where the 40-year-old
big up Rashid.
Yeah, and 100% Rashid. Without a shadow, he's a Timberlands.
I know Sully's a fan. Listen, Darren, listen. We all want Gyokeres to do well, but come on, man. You've seen top strikers at Arsenal over the years, my friend.
He's not one of them. But you know what it is with Gyokeres.
He's a glorified Noel Quinn, isn't he?
Yeah, you said he's 27, right? He's like the footballing equivalent of a 40-year-old at work, where when you're in office and you're 40 years old, you should at that age know your job inside out. Two, you have to basically think for yourself, not be spoon fed. And two, you're in a situation where you come up with ideas outside of the box to the extent the bed makes itself. At that age, at the age of 27, you should be at an age where you should know your game inside out, and it should be in a situation where you can think for yourself. Now, that's not trying to dig out Victor. He's at a situation where he looks like he's making his debut every game.
Yeah, that's it. Honestly, they're now right on the edge, Kenny. He looks like a player making his debut every single game.
Ezra was like that as well. He looked like he made his debut again until the Tottenham game, where he significantly improved, from my opinion, where he actually knows his game. He knows what's required of him. And that bloody injury he got, it just put his progress.
He just started. I mean, it's taken him all season, but he just started to feel his way into the team, didn't he?
Playing for football as well.
I mean, look, we've got to address the elephant in the room, though, haven't we, before we coming towards an end. But let's have a little look at the ones I've starred here, Kenny. Jam Boy, been a member for 8 months. Big up to you, Jam Boy. Absolute legend as well. Make sure you go and sub to Jam Boy. He's doing all sorts of mixing around. Says Zubi was misprofiled. He's not a 6. Going forward, he's quality. That double pivot makes us worse defensively because Rice is one man, but also worse offensively because Zubi's. Listen, Ashley, big up to you, my friend. I've been saying it all season. Zubimendi is not a 6. I don't. As much as what we've been saying about Gyokeres, I've been saying it about Zubimendi. I just don't know what he brings to the party. And for me, he's not been an upgrade. He's a good player. He's an okay player. He's a player that you would probably put in your first 11. But he's not the absolute weldy upgrade that I was expecting. Kenny, what are you saying on the Zubimendi? Because I said put him in the 8 to see what he can do, but I think since December he's kind of dropped off, hasn't he? Badly.
That's a very good thing to say. But the problem we have with Zubimendi is the problem we have with Rice. Rice is not a number 6 in the way that modern football's moving from now.
No, I don't think he is.
A number 6, 25 years ago, and dare I say it, let's just say Mourinho got the job 22 years ago at Chelsea. Gordon Makelele was a number 6 in a traditional sense, where he basically protected the back four. He's the best in the business.
Mm.
And then what's happened is that's how the number 6 will play. You've got to be able to good on the ball. You've got to be able to like take the ball in half turn and get to better players. Then all of a sudden, N'Golo Kante came along. And he basically smashed the coaching manual of what a number 6 has to do. And basically, he was 3 players in one. He changed our number 6.
He was incredible.
You want to talk about number 6s, and if you want to talk about revolutionising that position, just look at that quiet lad who basically won the league at Leicester City, went to Chelsea, won a lot, kept himself quiet, probably, and when he was when he missed a train to France, that quiet lad was watching Match of the Day with a couple of lads in North London because he was about to go with them to the mosque, and they invited him to his house, said yes. That quiet guy changed the way a number 6 would play. And then you look at Euro 2024, the number 6, first Rodri done it, and then Zubimendi did it for, say, Sociedad, where the number 6 isn't someone who can protect the back four. Number 6 is someone who dictates the play.
Mm.
Zubimendi,
I don't think we've got a proper number 6, Kenny.
Well, yeah, and then everyone looks at Declan, because Declan played in defence at West Ham, and because he's now playing at midfield, they assume that he's a holding midfielder. He's nothing of the sort.
No.
His best football, whether fans like it or not, is that number 8 position. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it.
No.
But if you ask Declan to say the World Cup, England are playing Argentina, and you say to Declan, right, you're the number 6. Tuchel isn't going to want him to do the Makelele job. He's going to want to do what Kante did for him.
Facts.
And what Kante was doing for Conte, and what the continental number 6 is at the moment. The continental number 6 has always been a player that dictates the play. He looks like he looks like
everything,
but the whole tempo. Now you tell me that's why Zubi was bought, because in Europe and in certain games, Arteta wanted Zubi to take the way we play and change that. What happened to Zubi this season is because Arsenal have been out of form, teams have been getting in at us. Zubi's able to do the dirty jobs. He's able to be like
he's been found out.
He's been able to do the jobs that he wasn't asked to do. He's been able to do the first press. He's able to go and score some goals because our attackers are not as good as they should be. He's having to, like I said, track back. How many times have you seen Zubi take the ball off the back four and try and dictate the play in recent times? It's a rarity, isn't it?
It is rare. It is rare. I've seen Rice do it. I've seen Rice come short all the time.
Yeah. He's able to do 3 people's jobs. How many times have you seen? How many games have you seen when you thought in the first half an hour, oh shit, Zubimendi's playing? I didn't realise he was playing. How many times have you seen that?
No. But defensively as well, though, he's on the. He looks vulnerable as well. This is my biggest worry. Let's just get this. Exactly. Big up Suge, absolute legend. Big up DJ B and Kenny in the chat. Hit the likes and subscribe, of course. Come on, people. If the Suge says it, you got to do it. You got to do it. Come on, people. Big up the Suge. Thank you very much, my friend. As always, top draw. When is the tennis YouTube channel launching, mate? If we don't win the league, trust me, me and Kenny will be talking cricket. This will be a cricket conversation right now.
Topside Ivory, I must say, I'm not a tennis fan, and I bloody hate Wimbledon. I can't stand Wimbledon because the reason why I can't stand Wimbledon because it doesn't represent people in this country. Like the British players always seem to be pushed out to court 1 or court 2. They're rarely on centre court, and the only time British player got on centre court was Tim Edmund, Rosetsky, and Murray. And I think that the British players at the main tournament shouldn't be treated like second-class citizens. But at the end of the day, the tennis I've enjoyed when I do watch it seems to be the Aussie Open and the US Open. I don't enjoy watching tennis on grass.
No, it's not the same now, is it? Zubi, Do Martin's friends. He wants to run the midfield. Sorry, it's a man's game, Martin. Go back to swapping top trumps on the coach. Big up to you. Darren Son 9 I would go with that if it meant we could play a little bit more attacking football. I think that's what we all want. We all want something. We all want a bit of attacking football. We want to see progress. When you spent £1 billion, for me, I want to see progress. I want to see us mix it up. I want to see us play attacking football. Yeah, I understand we've got to dig in at certain situations and dig in and make life awkward. I get that. But the cracks have been there, and going right back to like cup form. Why was our cup performances bad? We've told you throughout the stream the cracks have been there all season. It was just a matter of getting the opposition to fill to make the cracks wider, and that's what happened on Sunday. Man City saw it. We rocked up. These ain't nothing. They've been scrambling around.
Our fans thought that. Our fans thought that we're now better than Man City. Our fans have bought into the 5-1 from last season. They bought into it
massively. That's all they see in moments. They've always had.
Not only that. Let's not forget they got piped home and away by Real Madrid, and they struggled to beat Nottingham Forest, and they struggled to beat West Ham. So they thought right, that's it. But I did say last week on Dan's show, I think you were on it, and I think it was on Stricto. I did say that whoever loses that League Cup final, as much as people were minimising it, a few weeks before that, it was like if whoever wins is going to win the title. It stopped being that because Man City were dropping points and we weren't. It became a situation where it was if we lost lost the League Cup final, it hurt us. But Man City lost the League Cup final, it'd be catastrophic. You could see that the team that would have seen the loss as a catastrophe were better motivated for the team who had lost the League Cup final as hurt. It's like, all right, we're going to lose the League Cup final. Yeah, but we still got the FA Cup. We still got the league with 9 points ahead. We still got the, Champions League. We're going to beat Sporting Lisbon, and we're probably everyone believes we'll beat Barcelona because Chelsea beat them, and that's what we're
get bullied by Barcelona, Kenny.
If Barcelona, if we do play Barcelona, we're going to get ourselves in the false narrative that Barcelona concede goals. They conceded 2 in the new camp.
But our attack's not going to worry their defence, no matter how good it is.
And that's the situation. But our set pieces might.
Yeah, but they can score goals.
And defensively, we could hold them out. But the problem we got with Barcelona against a team like Barcelona is that Barcelona are not stupid. They're not gonna just let us come at them and hit them on a counter attack, even though they know that we haven't got the right counter attack. They are going to play with discipline. They're not going to. When you get to semi-final, it's not. They're going to think, oh, it's a semi-final. We F up, we're gone. So they're going to learn from their mistakes in previous years. They're going to make sure that it's not going to be like they did against Internazionale, where they basically attacked and left the back door open. They're not going to be that stupid. So what they're going to do is that they are going to be conservative, even in their own ground. But any mistake we make, they're going to punish with us. And what they're going to try and do is they're going to keep us under sustained pressure and stage pressure. And you know what happens when you put Arsenal under sustained pressure?
Yeah.
We'll creep.
When the pressure ramps up, that's it.
They won't panic if it's a draw at Nou Camp or they're winning by 2-1 or 1-0. They'll still come and play the same way, but they'll this time they'll be the ones holding. They're the ones going to hit us in the counter attack. They're the ones going to come at space, and that's where they're going to be more different. But if they keep the ball against this Arsenal side, they'll win against us.
100%. Couple more we've started here, my friend. Big up, fellas. Just wondering on how highly guys. All right. There's a couple of people that have asked the question. So we'll just go on to this. DJ thought Mo Salah. People were saying he's the greatest, but on the hand, people are saying he's trash era football. So can he be a great trash era? Really confused. And the other guy is big up, Row 21. Big up, fellas. Just wondering on how highly you guys rate Salah's career.
That's
There's
fun.
a couple of things there, Kenny. There's this one here, and how highly do you rate Salah's career? I'll give you my opinion on Mo Salah. Mo Salah will probably, for me, was a great player. You know, when he moves from the Premier League, Mo Salah will be remembered of that great Liverpool team, the clock team, the free-flowing attacking team. For me, he's up there. He's going to be one of them players that will be remembered, a bit like Kevin De Bruyne in this modern day football. I don't know, man. I mean, I think it's disrespectful to say Mo Salah's trash. Mo Salah's not this, Mo Salah's not that. Well, what are you saying, Kenny? Because Mo Salah's obviously going to go at the end of the season.
Mo Salah is a street footballer. He's a street footballer where you can't teach what you got. There's certain things that he does. He's very unorthodox as well, the way he plays. Very unorthodox. So it looks like technically he's not his best, but there's certain things that you just can't coach what he does. One thing about it is that he's one of the most direct players I've ever seen, and his goals in the Premier League is one of the best I've ever seen. You know, to always be, you know, in the goals, always strive to get 20 goals a season. He's the reason why Liverpool won the league last season. Without a shadow of doubt, him and Mane together, even though they're probably chalk and cheese character-wise, they won the league in 2020. And he's won a lot of football. He's won every major trophy there is to win for Liverpool. There's no doubt that he was able to do that in an era of Man City domination, an era where Haaland just can't stop scoring. I rate him. I think he's one of the greatest ever players. And greatest
100%.
He's not better than Henry, but he's up there with Henry because the fact is that he has been a catalyst for Liverpool's revival as one of the top teams in the country. But for me, as an outsider looking in, best ever Liverpool player? I don't think so. I think the best ever Liverpool player, in my opinion, and Liverpool put us to the sword a lot, was Kenny Dalglish, John Barnes, Terry McDermott, Graham Souness. I could name 20 players, and Steven Gerrard would probably be the 10th greatest player ever played. But because Liverpool was so bad and he stood out, some people say that Steven Gerrard was the greatest ever player. But those players, those fans, are in their 40s, where they all they've ever seen is Premiership football, and Liverpool hasn't been the greatest. But you speak to the older fans, with the exception of John Aldridge, who watched Liverpool in the 70s, how he said Steven Gerrard is the greatest ever Liverpool players ever. He must be personal friends with the Gerrards.
I can't believe he come out with that. I can't believe it. I mean, I was a massive Gerrard fan, like admirer, but he's not one of the best Liverpools ever had.
We grew up with players like Terry McDermott, who was one of the greatest players, Jimmy Case, Sammy Lee.
Oh, my man.
All players.
Ian Rush, Kenny.
Ian Rush. All those guys have won Champions Leagues as well as leagues. And John Aldridge is, and it's on the basis that when he was commentating on Radio Liverpool, Steven Gerrard was the match winner. Well, if you want me to be churlish, Steven Gerrard is the equivalent of some of the players we've had. I think Mane is better than Salah, Animal Shorts 97, without a shadow of doubt.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to disagree. I mean,
but one thing I will say though about Steven Gerrard,
Salah would be up there with the Liverpool greats.
Yeah, definitely. If Mane had stayed as long as Salah, I think that their results would be comparable in terms of their thing. But when I think of Steven Gerrard, we had a lot of Steven Gerrards at Arsenal. Alexis Sanchez was Steven Gerrard. You know, to a certain extent, Mesut Ozil was Steven Gerrard. You know, Aubameyang was a Steven Gerrard. And what I say, Arsenal at the Emirates until probably now, and probably last 4 years, was a small pond where we had a lot of big fishes because we weren't fit for its purpose. So Aubameyang would be world class, but he'd be a big fish in a small pond, right? Exactly. And then you look at Alexis Sanchez, big fish in a small pond, right? That can't be denied, right? And then you look at certain players that we have now. They've got an opportunity to actually be good players in a good team. Now, I've got nothing against Alexis Sanchez or any of the Aubameyangs because, and it's not their fault they're playing in an Arsenal era, but they're not Arsenal greats to me. Steven Gerrard, if you're a Liverpool fan, I think that, as I said, for the Liverpool side I saw, Rushy, Barnes, Daglish are above him, in my opinion. But again, I'm not a Liverpool fan, so if a Liverpool fan was to tell me Steven Gerrard's the best, I'll believe them because it's their club. They've got every right. Their opinions are always going to supersede mine because they support Liverpool. They've seen more Liverpool matches and had more than I'll ever have. So I'll bow to their opinion. I just think from what I saw, Steven Gerrard's not the greatest ever Liverpool player.
No, I don't think he is. Not in my opinion, from what I saw either. From what I see, very, very good player, but not the greatest ever Liverpool player. But Salah has to go down as one of the best that the Premier's seen. I'm not putting him up there with the Henrys and the Bergkamps, and all these men. I'm not doing that, but I do feel that he's earned the right for respect, and he's definitely not earned the right to be called trash or anything like that because there was that season under Klopp, them 2 seasons under Klopp, he was unplayable. You know what I mean? He was rinsing fullbacks all over the place, scoring goals, worldy goals as well. It'd be one of the first names on my team sheet right now. In his, even now he's dangerous. Even now he can pop up and score a goal. He's not had the season that he's had in the past because he set the standards so high. He raised the bar that high. And this is what I'm trying to say. This is what great players do. They raise the bar so high that any little dip in form, they're under scrutiny. Whereas Saka, for me, he's not raised that bar that high yet. He's still trying to raise it.
Yeah,
he's dipped in form.
Well, that's the thing with Saka. There's a lot of people who I think the people that looked at me and you when we said Saka was a world class.
Oh, mate,
we were on DG show. Obviously, there'll be many pennies and even pounds for his faults now. Maybe. Ray Kenny was a fantastic Liverpool midfielder as well, one of the best in the business, especially in the 70s and 80s and early 80s, without a shadow of doubt. I'm sure that if we were to ask for his faults, I'm sure there was some humility, a lot of humility in his viewpoints. I don't think he'll be looking at us in such a way. Saka before then had a very, very good potential, but he was close to world class, but he hasn't really achieved that. That could still happen, providing he plays as a false number 9. He's got a better chance of getting to that world class status than he would be in his present position. In my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, no, exactly. Do you reckon Saka would go? I mean, would we be having this conversation about Saka in years to come as one of the Arsenal greats, Kenny?
I hope so. Potentially could happen, but the fact is Saka has to.
Can you see it happening, Kenny? From what me and you have seen of Saka live and what we see of Saka now, and Sunday was a prime example. Games before Sunday, since his injury, since that horrific injury, and the way he's been overplayed by this man, I will never forgive this manager for the loss of Saka.
Blame as well.
Sorry, I can't.
He should take the blame as well, Saka. Yeah, that's the matter is, when you go up to the manager and you say, I'm here to schedule, I'm this and that, you're just as much to blame as the manager. I do think that Saka, shouldn't have been rushed back. He shouldn't have been thinking, oh yeah, I've got to get right for that Real Madrid match. Young people don't think about tomorrow. They only think about today. Well, we're now in a situation where it's tomorrow and he's not the player he was. Anyone who says it's anything other than his injuries and his ability to come back from injuries fully fit, clearly hasn't seen the player before he got injured. They clearly haven't seen the test results where he had a grade 3 tear on his hamstring. No player who's got a frayfish tear should be coming back in less than 4 months. Never.
No,
But
he
he
should have had
managed.
the rest of last season off. He should never
Yeah,
have touched
and
grass.
I think it was selfish of Saka. I think it was
Yeah,
selfish, manager, and it was
big
selfish
up
of his
front.
acolytes, especially certain YouTubers who were celebrating his return, because look what we got now. The same players are now calling Saka out when a genius or even a non-genius would have looked at that and thought, well, hang on here, this is common sense. What do you want?
Exactly.
You want Saka coming back, at his best. Another thing as well, it's funny how these players, these fans, didn't want this Saka to be rushed back. But when we suggest, well, Saka's going to go to the World Cup, they want him out of the World Cup.
Yeah, it's funny that.
It's funny that these people who said that we're not doctors, what do we know? We've been proven wrong. The minute the season ends, they're going to be packing it about Saka and Declan Rice.
Yeah.
Oh, they should really go to the World Cup. They should be ready for Arsenal. But hang on here. I thought you were happy when they were ahead of schedule. What's changed?
Exactly. But before we go, because I know Kenny's got to get out of here, and as I said, we don't overcook things on a Thursday, guys. DJB, let's read some of the chat. DJB, Cesc failure to Arsenal is still on. I hope so, but is he going to be the Kvaratskhelia that we all know under Arteta? We've seen it with players.
No, you won't. We don't play attacking football.
We don't play Kvaratskhelia type of football. He likes to play in the final third. He likes to be a little bit free, he likes to come off the left. He likes to drift into midfield. Arteta won't put up with that. This is what I'm saying. This is my biggest worry. Yeah, we might win the league. But if we're linked with all these top quality players, first of all, we've got to get rid of 6 or 7 players before we get these players in. That's a fact. That's to balance the books, and the fact that we've got dead wood at the club. And secondly, we bring in these quality players. You're just going to see the likes of these quality players end up like Martinelli, Trossard, Jesus, Havertz, Saka, Eddie Nketiah. The list goes on and on and on and on. This is what's going to happen. So this is why I've always said it, and I've never gone back on it. I admire what the manager's done. I admire that he's done a lot of good things, but long term, I want to change. And if he wins the league this year, I understand giving him another year. I get it. But not for me. I don't want him here longer than I really need to. He's
worked his nuts off, DJ, but he's worked his nuts off.
Yeah, exactly. And I admire him for that, Kenny.
He's built a team.
Yeah,
he's built a good squad. But the situation is, he's not going to be here forever. He's not going to be here forever. I mean,
not sustainable.
He could easily say, you know what, I've had it. This is taking its toll on my family. Taking its toll on my health, and he might want a break. That's no disgrace. But whatever happens, what we can't do is go to a manager that hasn't got the experience. We want a top name and one of the best in the business, because
this is what's going to lead me nicely on, Kenny, right? This is what's going to lead me nicely on. And me and you are in the same boat with the manager. We've both said it, that we think that he'll walk rather than get the sack. We think that it might be round the corner that he leaves, because he's put so much effort into Arsenal Football Club. He might just think, well, I've done what I've had to do. And before it ramps up and the pressure gets really on him, he might think, I don't need it. I can go elsewhere. Now, I mentioned it on the Mingle very quickly, Kenny, because I know you're an absolute fan of this guy. Everyone's been saying it in their bravery because they're on the chat and they haven't got a face, you mate. Darren Sullivan, Prone the Viking. Strong rumours that if Arteta was to leave or get pushed, whatever, and goes back home or gets another job or wherever he goes, strong rumours that Cesc Fabregas could be lined up as our next manager.
Well, see, that's the situation about it. We're going back to a manager with very little experience. It's what Arsenal will seem to do. They look at.
We've done it for years, haven't we?
Well, you can't really say about Arsene Wenger, because Arsene Wenger wasn't I knew of Arsene Wenger. I knew he won the
Grampus.
French league. I've heard of Arsene Wenger. Some fans are going to say, "What about Arsene Wenger?" Well, that's their ignorance. But George Graham, they may go back and say, right, George Graham's at Millwall. He was coaching under Terry Venables at QPR and Crystal Palace.
Yeah. It was a slight gamble in George Graham, wasn't it? It was
a massive gamble
when he rocked up as Arsenal manager. Do you remember that, Kenny?
Yeah, but the fact is with Cesc Fabregas is another situation where you are going to have a process where you are going to say, well, we're not going to win the league, but let's give him time. Why do you need to give a manager time when you've been challenging for the league for the last few years and you finished second last time? Surely you want to go one better. If you want to go one better, you do the sensible thing and get a big name in. Or have I missed a generation of common sense?
No, you haven't, mate. I would think it would be very foolish of the owners. As much as I know Cesc Fabregas, he's playing some wonderful football. Apparently, the way Como are playing that he's managing at the moment, it's free flowing. They're fourth in the league. The youngsters are coming through. They're playing good attacking football. I still think it's a gamble, and I don't think now the fans would want another process.
Well, there's another London club.
We don't want another process. We really don't. We need.
Yeah, but there's another club in London he can go to as well. Let's not forget he's highly thought of. Well, without show of that, Chelsea fans are not particularly fond of Rossellini. They don't like the fact that his teams. They don't like the fact that his teams are passive, even though they attack a lot more than they did under Maresca. They don't like the results. They don't like his player management. They don't like his use of Reece James. But Chelsea do like a young manager. They do like experimentation. They want to work with young players. Maybe if they got Francesco, it could be the same situation, and he'd be able to, play his brand of football that he wants to play, and see how it goes. A lot of Arsenal fans will want Francesco because he played for him, but you need to sort of make those fans who call Francesco as Francesco's manager to think of the bigger picture and think we're in a situation now where it's a situation where we have to win trophies. We have to win every year because of the situations where we are. You can't just, get Francesco in and then you say, all right, let's trust another process when you were challenged for the league in the last 3 out of 4 seasons. It doesn't make sense.
No,
but
it don't make sense.
Arsenal, not much makes sense, does it, at Arsenal these days?
Absolutely. Big up, Rashid. Perfect time for Luis Enrique, but he calls the shots who to buy and sell. We got a solid defence, good foundation. Whoever comes in has got a brilliant defence, good foundation.
You know what? That's the thing.
But there are players that need to move out, unfortunately. There is a bit of a rebuild going on.
Yeah, but that's happening. Whether Arteta likes it or not, Arteta would Berta will have to go to Arteta and have that conversation. I've got to move players on. I'm under pressure to sell because of a tax bill. I'm under pressure to sell because we're trying to, like I said, we're going to have increase our capacity, which means we might have to leave the Emirates. We've got to pay for that as well and cover that cost. Players might have to go. And PSR, isn't it? It's unrealistic for some fans who are going to say to them, I bet they're going to say, well, it's not your money. Why do you care? I care because I've seen clubs that I've respected go into administration because of fans like you want the club to spend money on Carlos Kickerball rather than think about the state of the club. I don't want Arsenal to have a transfer embargo. I want common sense. I don't want a situation where players leave on a free because no one wants them. I want a situation where we move like
sell your best assets and bring players in.
Yeah. Big top clubs don't move a player on, all right? If in order to get someone better, sometimes a player could play really well, but the ruthlessness of football says that, well, if we think someone's better, we'll get them in. Doesn't matter who they are. It could be a goalkeeper.
Exactly.
Could be anyone.
Exactly. You've got to keep raising the bar.
Liverpool used to do it when they were on top. Man United do it. Man City were doing it. And Chelsea do it. That's football. Arsenal fans are not. Arsenal fans, when they come out with these comments that it's not your money, we could just buy and keep players. They're not ready for Arsenal to win the big trophies. Not ready for Arsenal to dominate. Because their opinions are, as I said, they're not thinking about the bigger picture.
No, definitely not, mate. Definitely not. Whatever manage we get, we can't delay. You know, if there's a rat being smelt, and Berta and the board or whoever decides to do it, they need to move. You know, because we don't want to be a situation where all these top managers go around the circuit and we miss the boat and we end up with a rookie and we end up with another process and phases and £1 billion and this, that, and the other, and another 6 years, will he, won't he? I can't be doing with it. I'm tired of it. It's dragged me through the mire. It's dragged us through the mire.
But just remember, that's the club. It's a club we support. The club we support. We do that all the time.
Yeah, I suppose so.
The fact that we sold to the Cronkies rather than Usmanov tells you everything about our DNA.
Absolutely. Big up, Prime. Big up everyone that's locked in. Guys, absolutely brilliant. I've absolutely enjoyed this Thursday chat. It's a proper football chat. There's no it is what it is. It says what it says on the tin, guys. The performance at Wembley, when you analyse it now, the dust has settled. Is anyone really shocked? We were at the time. We were on Monday. We were Sunday evening. Come Thursday, there was evidence that was always going to be a full stop. There was evidence. The Liverpool, Chelsea 10 men, Brentford, Wolves, the list goes on. Man United at the Emirates, the evidence was all there. And we was just hopeful. But what we're going to do, Shane, Kenny, before you go, my friend, I've got to ask you. I know we're going to go. Shane is now got his Ireland shirt on and he's going to be watching the Ireland game. Big up, Shane.
Oh, he should.
Yeah, because he's a massive fan of England as well. He'd want us to win, 100%.
Well, yeah. Let's just let Rugby Ireland concentrate on themselves and let's leave it there.
What's your take on it, Kenny? Do you think it's a good thing that all the teams from the Isles get into the World Cup? Ireland, have they got?
It'd be good for Wales. It'd be good for Scott. It'd be good for Wales. It'd be good for the Republic of Ireland. There's a lot of Irish people in this country, so it'd be good for them.
Yeah,
you know, and it'd be good for everyone else. But the fact is that England should concentrate themselves. England should not patronise the Irish, the Northern Irish, and the Wales and Scotland by saying, "Oh, isn't it nice for you?" England should concentrate on one thing only: trying to win this tournament. It's not about anything else other than winning this tournament. They ain't got time to patronise Wales or Scotland. Realistically, Scotland traditionally have only ever just gone into the group stages and never gone home early. That's what they do. That's what they're probably going to do. There's because the reason the luck against them is just terrible, and Scotland haven't got a goal scorer. The Republic. It'd be very interesting to see what happened in Czechoslovakia. Northern London not going through. Wales, Italy, again, a tournament without Italy, 3 tournaments without Italy.
That'd be awful, mate, wouldn't it? That'd be.
It's not thinkable, but it happens.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, I mean, so what we're going to do? We are going to raid. We're going to raid Shane. Make sure that you go and give him some support. So we're going to. Have I frozen, Kenny? I normally freeze at this point.
Yeah. I think that's the cue for us to end this.
We're gonna go. But before we go, we're gonna go over to Shane. Let's here we are. Czech Republic v Ireland. There we go. Right. Let's get back on the studio. Hopefully I've unfrozen. Have I unfrozen?
Yeah, I'm frozen, yeah.
Magic. Kenny, what you got coming up, my friend? Love, bless you as always. I just want to say, Kenny, before you come in, Sunday, despite the result, that's what Wembley was all about. Met up, you know, me and you got together. We met up with other like Dan Potts and Aaron and everything else, and the day was brilliant. I know the result wasn't, but the day was great, mate. But anyway, what you got coming up, Brad fella?
I'm in Manchester for the boxing on Moses Town was fighting against Jermaine Franklin, and then there's a fight on the undercard, all British light heavyweight championship between Willie Hutchinson and Ezra Taylor. So get yourself down.
Good card, Kenny.
If not, go and watch it in design. But it's a big card. I'm looking forward to it.
Good. He loves his boxing, Kenny.
Love me boxing. So me and the wife are going to watch it. But what I'm going to do right now is get something a week before I get something to eat. Yeah.
Watch a bit of international. But big up to everyone. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy watching the international. Enjoy the international break. I'll be around. I'll do some sort of Sunday sit back. We'll have a little chat. We'll go into the league fixtures coming up. We'll have a little mingle hopefully next Wednesday. Other than that, I'm going to sort of have a little break because of the Easter holidays. I'm going to spend a bit of time away. So, but big up to everyone that's locked in. Guys, make sure you smash a like. Make sure you're following Kenny Ken. If you haven't subbed to the channel, make sure you sub to the channel. It's been a privilege, guys. Bless to you, every single one of you. All your comments are respected. Bless as always and stay safe. We're gone. Take care, fellas.